probably the first time I've really had to be as harsh as that, in all honesty. But sometimes you have to be harsh to be clear. You know, the reality is this season we've conceded too many goals. The pressing element of our game hasn't been at the levels that we would want it to be, and as a team we haven't defended well enough. Sometimes
managers do it, and it can be a bit risky if everyone's kind of not on board. But as you looked round, you felt like it had got through to all of them, and they were absolutely where they needed to be last night, and kind of pushing it forwards to the West Ham game.
No, I think I've always been honest with the players. I think I've said that to them from the beginning. I'm not going to tell them something in 6 months' time that I can tell them now. And sometimes, you know, a lot of the times you'll hold back, and then maybe reflect and come up with something a few days later for the players. But I felt at that moment in time I needed to say what I said. But the players know from day one here I've been with them, I've been looking after them, helping them develop their games. Most of them have grown in terms of the conditions in their life with better contracts because of what we've been able to do. So if that level drops and the performance level drops, as the leader you have to tell them.
Do you sense it is maybe time to look at a little rebuild? I mean, you've been pretty honest. Youri Tielemans, less than 18 months left on his contract. You said may well be time for him to move on. I'm sure there are other players that contracts and attracting other sides, and things freshen up. How big a kind of rebuild do you think it might be in the summer?
Well, I've said before, I think the team needs that healthy shake-up. I believe that when I came into here, there was a group of players that were hungry and wanted to prove themselves. And obviously we lost two of those who were top players, in Harry Maguire and Bale and Chilwell, but the team continued to progress. And obviously from that point and winning the FA Cup and everything else, players have got better conditions in their life and new deals and all, which is great. They deserve that. But you've got to keep improving, and you've got to keep developing. And for us, we've been unable to freshen up not just the squad, but the team. We've improved the squad. There's no doubt about that. But we have to improve the team, and that's something. Whether that's spending more money to get a different level of player in, or it's bringing in a hungry player that wants to prove the point. It's probably the mixture of both, really.
Do you stand by those quotes? Do you think Tielemans may well attract some big offers in the summer?
Well, I don't know what quotes you're talking.
They were from you.
Go on
I
then.
Promise you.
What was it? Sorry, say it. What was it?
They were from you. They said, look, you know, the reality is he's reached a point where he's going to be very attractive for other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. But that can be the same for a number of players, can't it, in the squad? I think that obviously with his contract running down, then I'm pretty sure there will be teams looking at him. But I'm also a realist as well. You know, and we also have to, and we are real as a football club. You know, you'll get people asking, can you hang on to these players and for the next 6-7 years? But the reality is, if a player does really well at Leicester, he may want to leave and move on to another club. For us, it's just been ready for that.
Do you think that'll always be the case? Or is the long-term ambition that eventually you'll be a club where you wouldn't have to do that?
No, I'm honest enough with everyone to say that it's not just at Leicester. I think there's bigger clubs than ourselves that will always lose their best players. You know, I don't think you can shy away from that. You know, some of the biggest clubs in this country will lose the best players. It's just trying to have that pipeline behind that to replace them.
And looking at your record, it's always sort of been 2-3 years. Some of that is down to you, some of that's down to other people. Do you feel at Leicester you've got some really strong roots that you may well be there longer haul?
Yeah, absolutely. But I signed a contract, and when I do sign a contract, I aim to stay. Sometimes it's out of your control, of course. But other times you may feel as if you've reached your maximum. After this season, I've got 3 years left at Leicester, and I would love to see that through. Because, like I say, I think we have had a chapter here now up until this point. and I think come the summer could be a really exciting period again for us. But we have to see this season through. There's still lots for us to play for this season, and of course I would love that opportunity to rebuild the squad again and see if we can continue with what has been a great time that I've had here so far.